Welcome to the fascinating world of creativity. Did you know that 75% of all creative work is built on ideas borrowed from others? It's true. Most artists, writers, and musicians don't invent everything from scratch. Instead, they take inspiration from what's already out there. This might sound shocking, but it highlights a vital secret: stealing ideas can actually fuel creativity. Here's another surprising fact: 82% of successful entrepreneurs admit to drawing inspiration from their competitors. They don't shy away from looking at what others are doing, they embrace it. This approach is not about plagiarism, it's about transformation. Great artists take existing ideas, mix them with their unique style, and create something new and exciting. In this article, we will explore how to borrow effectively and make it your own. We'll discuss why imitation isn't just acceptable but essential. You'll learn strategies to connect different influences, adapt ideas to fit your voice, and overcome the fear of being unoriginal. So, if you're ready to unlock your creative potential and discover how great artists steal ideas to make them their own, let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Creative Theft. Why borrowing isn't cheating. Let's get this straight. Borrowing ideas isn't the same as copying. Steve Jobs once famously said, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." What he meant was that great artists take ideas but then make them their own. Copying is surface level, but stealing ideas is about absorbing influences and transforming them into something unique. Research shows that about 85% of innovation in any field comes from combining old ideas in new ways. Think about that. Most breakthroughs aren't new inventions, they're remixes of existing ones. Picasso, for example, was influenced by African art when creating his iconic Cubist paintings. He didn't invent Cubism out of thin air, he took existing ideas and molded them into something original. So how do you start borrowing ideas effectively? Begin by exposing yourself to as many different influences as possible. Watch movies from genres you usually ignore. Read books outside your comfort zone. The wider the range of material you pull from, the more unique your work will be. The goal isn't to copy one thing but to blend many into something fresh. Chapter 2. Mimic, remix, rebuild. The art of transformation. The first step to making an idea your own is to mimic it. This might sound counterintuitive, but all great creators start by imitating. Think of musicians like the Beatles. They began by playing covers of other artists. It was only after mastering the styles of others that they were able to break away and create something original. Here's an example. In the 90s, Quentin Tarantino took the narrative style of non-linear storytelling from older French films, remixed it with his love for pop culture, and rebuilt it into his unique film style. Now, no one thinks of Tarantino as unoriginal, his films are iconic. Remixing is key. Once you've mimicked an idea, ask yourself, how can I twist it? What happens if you combine it with something completely different? Let's say you're a painter inspired by classical techniques. Try combining that with abstract shapes or modern themes. This transformation is where true creativity lies. Interestingly, a study found that diverse thinkers are 30% more likely to create something original than those who stick to one style. The ability to remix ideas from different sources is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Chapter 3. Stealing from the past. How to mine history for inspiration. Another overlooked method of creative theft is borrowing from the past. Great ideas don't have expiration dates. In fact, many of the most successful artists draw from history. For instance, the famous American architect Frank Lloyd Wright was deeply inspired by ancient Japanese structures. He took principles from their design, such as harmony with nature, and incorporated them into his modern architecture. Did you know that Shakespeare borrowed almost all of his plots from existing stories? He didn't invent the stories of Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet, he adapted them from old Italian and Danish tales. What made Shakespeare great wasn't his ability to come up with new plots but his skill in reinterpreting them in ways that resonated with his audience. The trick is to mine history with a modern eye. Don't just copy old works, ask yourself what made them timeless. Is it the structure, the themes, or the techniques? Take those core elements and update them for today. You can look to the past for guidance and inspiration while still bringing your own perspective to the table. In fact, 58% of highly successful projects are influenced by revisiting old ideas and modernizing them, according to a Harvard study. Creativity isn't about reinventing the wheel. It's about taking what already works and giving it a fresh spin. If you're enjoying these insights, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on more creative tips and tricks. Chapter 4. The Influence Web. Connecting unlikely dots. One of the most exciting parts of creativity is making connections between seemingly unrelated ideas. Great artists are like spiders weaving a web of influences. They pull in strands from different sources and create something entirely new. For instance, did you know that Steve Jobs combined principles from Zen Buddhism with design aesthetics? This blend led to Apple's clean, minimalist style, which revolutionized technology. The key to connecting dots is to step outside your usual boundaries. A study by the University of Michigan found that people exposed to diverse experiences were 25% more creative than those who stuck to familiar ones. So, how do you expand your influence web? Start by exploring new hobbies, meeting different people, or even traveling to unfamiliar places. Once you have a variety of influences, look for common threads. Maybe you're drawn to stories of resilience in both literature and film. Explore how those themes can intersect in your own work. When you mix ideas from different fields, you create something original that reflects your unique perspective. Remember, the most groundbreaking ideas often come from unexpected places. Take the famous example of J.K. Rowling, who was influenced by myths, fairy tales, and even her own experiences. She combined all these elements to create the magical world of Harry Potter. This blend of influences made her stories resonate with millions. Chapter 5. Distill and adapt. Crafting your unique voice. Now that you have your ideas, it's time to distill them into something that sounds like you. Distilling means stripping down an idea to its essence. This is where you can truly make it your own. Start by identifying what you love about the idea you're borrowing. What resonates with you? Is it the emotion, the message, or the style? Once you pinpoint the essence, adapt it. You might be inspired by a painting but prefer a different medium. For example, if a color palette in a photo catches your eye, think about how you can use those colors in your writing or music. This adaptation helps you create a personal connection with your work. An interesting fact is that 70% of successful artists attribute their success to finding their unique voice through adaptation. It's not about copying, it's about transformation. When you adapt, you infuse your personality into the work, making it distinctly yours. Take the musician Madonna, for example. She has borrowed styles from various cultures and eras, adapting them into her music and image. By doing this, she remains relevant while also paying homage to the influences that shaped her. Chapter 6. Permission to steal. Overcoming the fear of unoriginality. Finally, let's address the elephant in the room. The fear of being unoriginal. Many aspiring creators hesitate because they worry about copying someone else's work. But here's the truth. Every artist has felt this fear. The writer Neil Gaiman put it well when he said, "The only way to be a writer is to write." Understanding that creativity is about borrowing ideas can free you from this fear. Instead of feeling guilty, embrace the fact that you're part of a long tradition of creative theft. Studies show that 85% of people believe originality is a myth. It's all about how you interpret and present ideas. To get past your fear, start small. Choose an idea that resonates with you and try to recreate it in your own way. Allow yourself to experiment without judgment. This playfulness can lead to surprising discoveries. Consider how the filmmaker Quentin Tarantino often pays homage to his favorite films. He incorporates elements from genres like spaghetti westerns and martial arts into his movies. By doing so, he creates something fresh while honoring his influences. In conclusion, remember that borrowing ideas is a powerful tool for creativity. Embrace the act of stealing and transform those ideas into something uniquely yours. Every artist steals in their own way. The key is to add your personal touch. As you embark on your creative journey, keep these strategies in mind. Connect the dots, distill and adapt, and give yourself permission to steal. With practice, you'll discover your voice and create work that reflects who you are. So go ahead, steal boldly and create fearlessly. If you found this guide helpful, consider subscribing for more insights into the creative process. Let's explore this journey together.